Hey, what's up, friends? If you're new to my channel, if you don't know what I'm all about, my name is New Moves, and I make on-the-ground reports on wherever I go. I travel a lot. I currently live in China, so most of my vlogs and podcasts are related to China because that's where I live and that's where I see day-to-day life. But I have traveled to a bunch of different countries, and I do make videos from those places, and I do offer my opinions on those places. So if you do like hearing on-the-ground opinions, please do subscribe and follow along the adventure. Today's topic is a serious one. It's about the recent tick up in violence against Asians, and as an Asian Canadian, I have to respond. First of all, I want to send out my sincere condolences to anyone who's been affected by this random violence. If you know people, if you've been affected personally, I'm sending you my thoughts and positive energy, and honestly, you can reach out to me. I have experienced racism, of course, as a Chinese Canadian. I know what it feels like to be targeted just because I don't look like the group with the most power. Please go ahead and send me a message at newmoves@qq.com or on my Facebook page, which is facebook.com/newmovespage. Reach out. I will definitely lend an ear to you. And of course, secondly, I condemn such barbaric and terroristic actions. This is absolutely nothing short of terrorism. When you go out and randomly kill people of a certain ethnic group, because you're a racist or you believe in the racist media, then you're just a fucking terrorist. And you're using death and destruction to put fear in other people's hearts. And believe me, as a Chinese Canadian, we are not easily shook. If you're a racist listening to this and you think that your racism is going to put fear into an Asian person's heart or a Chinese person's heart, I honestly got to tell you, there's no way a couple terrorist acts is going to make us shut up or is going to make us scared to do what we need to do to live our lives. So if you are a fucking bigot and you think it's funny that a couple terrorists have gone and killed Asians, karma's going to come back at you. And I'm not promoting violence. I'm just saying karma is real. I can just imagine my parents or my friends being victimized by absolute nonsense, absolute stupidity. I can imagine that happening, but I condemn all random acts of violence regardless of what group it's being perpetrated against blacks, whites, Latinos, Native Americans, Native Canadians, transgendered people, queers. Random violence is just the epitome of hell. That's the best way to put hell on earth, to just randomly harm other people, because it creates a cycle of violence, like a disease. One thing that I'm so happy about living in China is that Chinese people are very non-confrontational. You probably know that if you've interacted with Asians, they will just kind of back away from a lot of situations. You might raise your voice, yell at someone from an Asian country, and you might just see them silently back away. And that's why a lot of people might think Asians are weak, but they're just good at keeping the peace because they know violence just begets violence. And as an Asian Canadian, I can say that I would never allow this terrorism to stop me from living my life and from being who I really am. I might be more vigilant. I might go and take more MMA classes or something like that. But don't you think for a second, if you're a racist and if you're a fucking colonialist bigot that thinks that your race or your people or your ethnicity or your creed or religion belongs at the top, and you think you're going to keep Asians down with your terrorism, I guarantee you it won't work. Thirdly, my last point, if you're Asian and you're listening to this and you never thought about geopolitics, it's time to wake up and realize that the news that we see every day, that Western funded media that reaches across the globe, it's pretty anti-China these days. And I hope you realize that if something's anti-China, at the end of the day, it kind of bites you in the ass, regardless if you're Chinese or not, because people who can't tell the difference between Asians will just think anyone who's Asian is Chinese. And the point I'm trying to make with that is be careful when you share things on social media, because over the last 4 years, I've seen so much fake fucking bullshit on social media, especially Instagram. Reddit is the worst for anti-China disinformation. 99% of the articles you see on Reddit are anti-China horseshit, like completely fake, completely fake. And as an Asian, you got to realize that if you are actually part of that group that's spreading that disinformation around, you're actually feeding into racism. You're actually creating hate, which might end up coming back at you with this random violence that's being perpetrated by these terrorists. Think about it. Like if you go ahead and share all these anti-China articles because you think, oh, it's really edgy to share disinformation and be like, oh my God, yeah, I hate communism. Oh yeah, I hate Xi Jinping. If you really hate it, that's fine. I'm not trying to stop anyone from hating things. I'm not trying to control or encourage anyone to take my position. I don't really care if you agree with me on issues or not. What I'm saying is, if you're actually just pressing the share button with zero critical thinking, you might be contributing to the hate that ends up with a random dude pushing your grandfather down some stairs and killing him. And that's not a joke. I'm being totally serious. Because if you're spreading that kind of anti-China fake ass news that makes people hate China and disgusted about China and makes them feel all these emotions that it was planned to make people feel those emotions. You have to understand they were designed to make people feel disgust and hatred. Because my major is psychology, and I understand that disgust is a universal emotion. Every culture has feelings of disgust. And these articles are carefully crafted to activate that emotion, disgust. When you see dogs being slaughtered, which is only done by a tiny fraction of people living in China. And it's also, dog eating also happens in other countries like Korea, Vietnam, and even I think France. But they'll always try to associate China with this very unfavorable type of cuisine. The purpose is to draw out that feeling of disgust. And so if you are an Asian and you are non-critically sharing those hateful and psychologically designed articles that are supposed to incite that kind of hate, then you might actually be creating the meme or the psychological atmosphere that might be provoking people to come and hurt you or hurt the people you love. Because the new Cold War is happening on China right now. And with that comes a lot of repercussions. Let's not forget that in World War II, America, and I'm not sure about Canada, but they created concentration camps just for Japanese Americans. And if you don't think history repeats itself, well, then you haven't read a lot of history. So I just wanted to share that with you. These are my honest thoughts. And if you like this little rant, please subscribe to me on YouTube. And also you can follow me on Facebook. Peace and love, guys. And I really do appreciate your donations and support because I'm not getting many donations these days.